Good morning, ladies. Well, good morning, friends. I think I've started to adopt saying ladies because it's clear that the majority of you watching this vlog, you are ladies. And if, let's say, 10 of you are watching this video right now, 9 of you are ladies and 1 of you is my brother. I love you, Chris, very much. I'm actually coming to you. Today is Sunday. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning in Boston. I am here for the weekend, and as such, you know, life has been extremely busy with also some unexpected twists and turns, as life does. We are firmly settled into our new old house in Traverse City. I think I mentioned in my last video, we found our dream GC. We're excited to get that momentum going. We now have an architect on board. She, and I love that, she is coming back next week to do measurements for the house so we can draw up plans, send it to the city, get things going, and hopefully all systems will be a go and they can start the renovation project starting in September. The idea and the goal is to get the house completely framed by December so that, you know, the winters up there can be pretty intense, to get that going so that they can just then start on the finishing touches and it will be hopefully ready for us to move into for the summer next spring. Yesterday, I descended here upon Boston and it just reminded me that I have not been here since I came as a young girl with school trips. Growing up in New York, a lot of field trips would either be historic sites like Philadelphia, attainable places that we could take a bus to go to, and Boston. Then when my girls were little, we brought them here. There was a movie with Nicolas Cage, I think called National Treasure. So we did a whole road trip based on that. But that was over 20 years ago. And of course I was with my children with only those objectives in mind. I need to schedule a proper trip to Boston, which I may then want to tie into. And this is a goal perhaps for next year. And then I would love to tie that in with going to Martha's Vineyard and of course Nantucket. Having come here this weekend, definitely unexpectedly and rather suddenly, I just felt so grateful that I was able to pack my bag in a flash. And to know me is to know that has not always been the case. As much of an organized person I am, and as a planner, packing for trips used to be very, very stressful to me until I finally cracked the code. And I feel like I only just cracked the code in May when I did that trip to Mexico, and I was like, I've had it. I just need to be able to like do this. So I did a lot of research, and so I think I'm gonna walk you through some of those things here, but I am heading out the door shortly. Oh, probably any minute. They may be waiting for me downstairs. I'm here in Boston, not truly for leisure. I am here because I received the news this weekend that my very best girlfriend of over 25 years, Nancy, she actually lives in Sarasota, which is about 2.5 hours from me in Orlando, but we met in Orlando. We raised our children together. We have gone on countless escapades together. She helped me start my business. She guided and navigated and helped me through some of the hardest times in my life. We have celebrated each other's victories and we have held each other for each other's losses. Nancy rather suddenly got a diagnosis of a very rare and aggressive form of cancer. It's actually behind her right eye, in her sinuses. You know, obviously that's really close to this whole area. It's been a surprise and it's been a lot to navigate, and I can't even imagine her, but as she has always been, she has only demonstrated the utmost dignity. She came up here to Boston to be a part of a study, which the details really cannot be disclosed at this point. But this cancer, there's only, I think, less than 200 documented cases that they can go to. Thus, the study, the clinical study, in her own words, yesterday, she just will do anything. She said, cut me, dissect me, do what you have to do. She never wants another person to have to go what she's going through at the moment. And if they get this diagnosis, she wants answers to happen, and that will be her legacy, and I firmly believe that it will be. She came up here to Boston for what was perhaps this clinical study and a second opinion, and is just not going home for now. And I'm going to say for now. So she started her treatment this week. They're doubling down on her. Again, it's aggressive. Its mass has doubled in size since all of this news has happened. Quite frankly, I just needed to hold her this weekend, and we just needed to be together. We both instilled in our children that they had to read the book before they watched a movie, and so we are no different. We read a book called The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood and fell in love with it, and then we, of course, went on to see the movie. I also need to mention that there is a third part to our beautiful friendship, and that is our friend Jane. Together, we have called each other the Yayas, and in The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood, their children were called the Petites, and we each have 2 children, and all of them grew up together, and we would take summer trips together where it was just the moms and the kids, and it was the most glorious way to raise our children. And I think they would tell you that was the most glorious way to have a childhood, was to have these second moms. As soon as we saw each other yesterday, we held each other, we cried, we held hands in the back of the car, and then that was that. And then we were back to annoying the utter crap out of her husband and her extremely patient son, Ben, who I'm very grateful to for helping me navigate. I'm going to have a quick bite to eat with them. She is very, very weary and tired from the treatments, so I think we're just going to go back to her son's apartment, and I think we're going to binge Elle, the prelude to Legally Blonde. I know she always loved that movie, but before I leave and all of that, can't wait to show you how I have cracked the code to pack at a moment's notice with everything I need, and I need a lot, and make the most of a trip, whether it be an adventure trip, sitting next to your Yaya trip, or something in between. Good morning. Well, it is actually Monday morning. I've been up since 5:30. It's shortly after 6. I'm fresh out of the shower. Before I show you the contents of the suitcase and the packing and yes, how I cracked the code, I thought I'd show you another sort of cool thing. I love these sort of collapsible cups. I have one right here. And what I do is I take greens. Well, first thing is I have hot water with lemon, and then I have my greens. So I had sort of decanted a bunch of it in here with one of the scoops. I will pour 8 ounces of water here into this cup here. This holds 12 ounces, by the way, and put this in and shake it up. I also take a liposomal vitamin C. I mean, we should take vitamin C anyway, especially if we don't necessarily get it from our fruits and veggies every single day. Liposomal just is a bit more systemic. It's in your system. My esthetician, Marcella, got me on this, and of course, my functional practitioner loves that I'm on this as well. This is the particular brand I use. So it's kind of like a jelly, and it needs 3 ounces of water. And I was like, how would I ever get 3 ounces of water? Well, I found this collapsible shot glass. So I also keep this flat here and just pop it open when I'm ready to do that too. So I'm going to take that shortly after my greens. I might wait closer to when I have something to eat because you need to really take this with food. This has so inspired me with anything collapsible because the flatter things are, clearly. They are easier to pack. And while I very, very much love my Owala thermos thing, I walk with it, we travel with it, but I have also lost a couple in airports before. I have found, and it's coming this week because this trip was just sort of the last straw, my personal item. You know, the personal item that you're allowed to carry along with your carry-on was just, might as well have been a carry-on as well. It is a Goyard bag, and it is just stuffed to the brim, and it's just actually so awkward, and it's just not comfortable to walk around the airport. And I just, you know, sometimes traveling can be stressful, and I'd rather just be at ease and stress-free as possible. So I found something akin to this, and it is a collapsible travel bottle. I'll also link these as well as the travel water bottle in the show notes so you can check them out for yourself, but I'm very excited to go ahead and get that so I can travel with it. So while I prepare this, I will let you know, I had a full day yesterday with Nancy, her husband Mark, and her son Ben. So it is clear that, you know, the treatments are starting to catch up with Nancy. And so I'm just so happy I could be there for her. See, here's what you do, just shake it up. So while we did go out to eat and everything like that, anyway, that was sort of truncated. She wasn't feeling great. We went back to his apartment and we just insisted that she rest. I mean, she really had no choice. She was just out of commission. We started to watch the prequel to Legally Blonde. We started to watch Elle, and it is precious. I'm enjoying it so much. We could only get through one episode. They're not long episodes, by the way. It was just the way she was feeling. We could only get through one episode before she really just sort of had to sleep off the day. And then we were able to grab a bite to eat for dinner. Again, just I think food is, they're becoming triggered. She's learning the new normal. So anyway, it was bittersweet to say goodbye to her yesterday. But as I was crying to Mr. Lyons on the phone last night, he said, you know, you can go back up to Boston whenever you want. And you know what? He is right. So whenever I have another free weekend or something, I may just do that. I better get dressed because Ben is going to pick me up to take me to the airport very soon. And I still need to show you just sort of the ingenious way I have learned how to pack. Okay, dressed and ready to go. And I still have some time before Ben gets here. This is said personal item. And you will see it is maxed to the brim and it's actually very, very heavy. Hence or thus why I want to find the collapsible water bottle. And before I get started, I thought I would show you real quick. This is my airport travel outfit of the look. You may recall this dress from a previous video I did before we went to the Bahamas. This was sort of a shopping haul. I had a spring summer shopping haul, and this is actually from H&M. My shoes, well loved, well worn, are from Vivaya. I love these because even if I pack them, they just fold up. These actually are the only pair of shoes that I packed for this weekend. It's really all I needed. I knew we weren't going to be doing much, so these are perfect. And then of course, they always keep the airport and the airplane like a meat locker. I always bring a cardigan or a scarf, and I love this butter yellow cardigan that I got from The Gap, and that keeps me really comfortable, and I like the way it pairs with the brown and white polka dots. So I thought I would start with my toiletries because this has always historically been the bane of my existence. I cannot tell you how many travel toiletry bags I have gone through in my years. I got this right before I went to Mexico, as I said earlier, and I like it. I first saw it like this and became a bit concerned. I will admit, initially, I liked it for the aesthetic of it. I liked it because it was durable. I could see through it and all of that. And this is how it opens. And it's perfect. Now, what I found the trick to do is, at least in my carry-on, is I pack it just like this, flat. Because when I do it like this, it makes it very difficult for the suitcase to close. Now, of course, if I had a check-in luggage, it wouldn't be a problem, but then again, I would probably have my toiletries with my carry-on anyway. I have also noticed the trick, and I know that, trust me, I know I'm not cracking any sort of code for maybe the world at large, but this is for me. I really just do keep this replenished at all times. So when I get back home, I'm going to replenish. These are sort of like those disposable makeup wipes. They're not pre-moistened or anything, but they're fine for the planet. You cannot flush them, but you can throw them away. They are biodegradable, and I'll find out that brand. Clean Face? It's Clean Face. And I will put those in the show notes as well. I've used these for 3 years now, so I love this. So I'm going to just replenish that probably with like 5 more, and just some travel size skincare and things. I have electrolytes, of course I have some Band-Aids, medicine and everything. Here's another tip. I was so grateful last night I did this. I don't know about you, but when I do not travel with Mr. Lyons, and even sometimes in hotels, I just, despite either the luxury or the comfort, I just do not sleep well. And I know I have every reason to. I have blackout shades, I have quiet, solitude, but I just do not sleep well. So thankfully, I found some melatonin in here last night, but that was the last 2, so I'm definitely refilling that when I get home. So yeah, this is from Calpac. I will link this in the show notes as well. I'm gonna zip it up here. Before I get to the actual contents of the bag, this is another one that really, really just was like a light bulb moment for me, and that was my makeup. So I found, these clear bags on Amazon. Love them. What was happening was I was packing my own makeup every single time. It just made packing stressful just before we would go. And then I wouldn't bring the right brushes or something like that. Also, what I found the trick is all like sticks, if that makes sense. So like my contour is a chubby stick. And so I'm not worrying about 3 ounces. I'm not worrying about fluids. I'm not worrying about anything leaking, just things like that. So I have my travel size Aborian, and I know I've spoken about Aborian before on this channel. And otherwise, this is a CC cream that goes on, looks white, but then it blends into your skin tone. And I love this. It also has an SPF factor in here of, I believe, 30. It's good. And then of course, Merit. I have been using Merit now for 4 years. I started to use this, ironically, when we went to South Africa, because I did have the issue of we weren't checking in bags and we could only use a duffel bag. We had a weight limit. I didn't want anything leaking. And if you're not familiar with Merit, it is also a foundation stick. It blends in beautifully, and I just have not stopped using it. I have just other foundations for special occasions, but usually when I'm traveling, it's nothing like that. I have a primer, a powder, my setting spray, a blush, all of that. I even have a mirror here to do my makeup if I'm in a small area that has, you can charge it, and it has LED lights, and it's great. I just got this right as we arrived to Michigan, and I, again, love. These are travel makeup brushes, and these are brilliant. You can see this is so packed. I haven't even used, there's plastic still on many of the brushes, and they mainly consist of eyeshadow because I don't really wear eyeshadow. I actually just put like the contour and blush on my eyelids because I am no makeup artist. This has been a game changer. So what I'm gonna do when I get home and I replenish the toiletry bag is I'm gonna make sure to clean my makeup brushes. The other thing that I do not travel without is my little Bose micro speaker. A lot of times you can stream through the TV, but I stream like brown noise, white noise, whatever you go to sleep with. I stream that usually at home through YouTube with a black screen, so it makes our TV screen go completely black. In hotels, it does not though. I've noticed it depends on the TV. Nonetheless, I wear a mask, it's fine, but it would have bothered Mr. Lyons if he was here. But if not, I can always stream it from my phone, and also I like to listen to music rather than watch TV when I'm getting ready in a hotel room. And so I love this little portable micro speaker. This carries far. We have Sonos speakers at home in Orlando all throughout the house, but before we got those, I would just move this around and from room to room whenever we entertained, and the sound really carries. It's pretty powerful. So one side of my travel-on is the toiletry bag opened up, and just the items I'm showing you here. Of course, a fold-up laundry bag. I have that here. I love that I found a travel curling iron that is small, and this is the Baby Bliss. So these are really good hot tool products. I will say though, the challenge for me is it doesn't have the clamp, and I'm very old school with curling irons. So it's a wand. That's what they call it. It's a wand. But I'm getting better at it. I wouldn't trade it for the world because I absolutely do love the size. So we're good. So that whole side of the carry-on has just sort of the makeup, the toiletries. I have my chargers. I do travel with my slippers. Do not judge me. These are ready because I actually walk outside with them. Just as I have the barefoot sneakers, the Vivo Barefoot. These are not Vivo, but these are barefoot slippers. I love them, but they do have a nice tread on them, so I could walk outside. Clearly I have. They're not in amazing condition. The collapsible water cup I showed you. I cannot live without my sleep mask, just like my supplements and all of that stuff. And then on this side, I didn't want to travel with a laptop bag. I just wanted to be as easy as possible. So I actually have my laptop in here and just all of my clothes on this side. So I'm going to roll her up, let you know what luggage I'm using as well, and make my way to the airport because Ben should be here in 10 minutes. Well, ladies, I have made it to the airport. I am at Boston Logan Airport. Let me know if you are team just make it in time to board your flight, or if you are like me and the bare minimum is getting to the airport 2 hours in advance of your flight. I sort of saw this trend, I think maybe it was last summer, where people were like time stamping when they left their house to when they made their gate to see if they can do it, and it was only like an hour. And even watching those videos gave me anxiety. So I also thought I would talk about some non-negotiables about traveling now. Now that I am 57 years old, now almost, and just now that I've definitely have some travel under my belt. The first is, and I just got this earlier this year when we went to the Virgin Islands, I got and registered for Clear. Now I've had TSA for well over 10 or 15 years, but Clear really does make all of the difference. I really didn't have a problem here in the Boston airport, but I literally walked into the airport, they took my picture, and I walked through security. It was easy breezy. Where Clear really comes in clutch is an airport like my home airport, which is MCO, Orlando International Airport. that airport at any given time is just a hot mess. So, and that's exactly when I got clear, because even the TSA line when we were going to the Virgin Islands was just insane. So clear just saves the day every time. Of course, a very tidy and succinctly packed suitcase helps, as well as your personal carry-on. Now that I have my travel, it's coming on Wednesday, my collapsible travel water bottle, I'll be in much better shape. And the other is lounge access. Now, we have lounge access to certain airline lounges through my husband. Mr. Lyons has it through like United Airlines and American Airlines, but I've had a Chase Sapphire card for a while now, but I just got the Chase Sapphire Reserve for business, and this lounge is wonderful. So I have also been in a Centurion lounge, and I would say this is really, really close. I swiftly got a latte. It's wonderful. I have here a lovely, you can see I've eaten some of it. I have a sun-dried tomato, spinach and feta frittata, and a Mediterranean hash. I just sent Mr. Lyons a picture also. They have a smoked salmon farro ball, and they're doing made-to-order omelets, which is like one of his favorite things. I also saw a server delivering breakfast sandwiches, and it's just so lovely. If you see this here, I have this so that you can hear me, and also so I can speak a little bit more softly. I want to be respectful of the other people here in the lounge. Yeah, I think it's so nice to get here 2 hours in advance, particularly if you have lounge access. You can just rest, decompress. You know, travel can be go, go, go. It can be stressful for some. For me, this alleviates a whole lot of it. And so, of course, I think I'm going to close the video here before I head back to Traverse City. Looking forward to getting home and seeing Mr. Lyons and, of course, the pups. But I did want to speak to also just friendship and true friendship. There is a line in my very favorite Taylor Swift song, which is You're on Your Own, Kid. And it's called, and it launched the sort of phenom that we know now to be the friendship bracelets. And it just says, so basically, if you see the moment, take it, make the friendship bracelets, basically savor every moment. And I didn't waste any time. From the time that Nancy called me last Monday to tell me of her diagnosis, I had a flight booked by Wednesday, and I was here this weekend. Life is too short, life is too precious, and so are our friends and our loved ones. And so make the friendship bracelets. Go see your yayas. Just do what you need to do to make them feel revered and loved and supported. I am going to be a touch selfish here at the end of the video. In the show notes, I am going to link and leave some information for a GoFundMe account that I have set up for Nancy and Mark, because they are displaced. They do live in Sarasota. They are here in Boston at least until October. While they monitor her, as aggressive as her cancer is, so are her treatments. You know, the last couple of days were lovely to be together, but the treatments are catching up with her, and she's just a wee little yaya. She's about 5'2.5". She'll tell you she's 5'3", and she's not. They've been in a hotel room with one bed, so we are trying to find them temporary housing. Of course, you know, hotel bills, medical bills, housing bills, food, it's all adding up. So every little bit will count, and I really appreciate you indulging me in speaking about that to you. If you made it this far, I'm trying to think of the word. Could it be friendship? Well, I think the word, if you made it this far, is yaya. If you have a yaya, if you have a best friend, if you have a ride or die, please put their name in the comments. I will keep them, whether they're healthy, indifferent, or sick. I'm going to keep them in my thoughts, knowing that they are your yaya, and wish them all the best. So, thank you for being with me on sort of this chaotic vlog, but important nonetheless. I'm so happy I saw my yaya. I will see you in next week's video. Bon voyage. Bye-bye.